Hello everyone, my name is Rahman and today we are doing a call-in session. Uh, I know you are in a grateful mind and hopeful mind and fresh because it's just a morning. Okay, our today topic is Sky, the world that scares beyond the horizons. Okay, first you have to call Maya. Um, Maya was taking too much time. Maya attend the call.
Hiya.
Hello Maya, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. What's on your mind today?
I have questions.
I'm all
And
ears.
yeah, okay.
I'm ready. So, what have you got for me?
Um, I have got you that. You know what is sky?
I'm not quite sure I follow.
What is
Who's
the
the guy?
sky? What
The
is the
sky is. Wait, the sky or a class? I want to
sky?
actually make sure I'm on
Sky.
the. Got it. The sky. It's basically the atmosphere, the layer of gases surrounding Earth that keeps us from floating off into the void. What part of the sky are you curious about?
Um, um,
No rush.
why
I'll
is
be right here.
the sky important to life on Earth?
It's basically our planetary shield. Without it, we'd be totally exposed to the harshness of space. It handles everything from blocking lethal radiation from the sun to keeping the planet warm enough so we don't all freeze. Plus, it's where all our weather happens, which means water gets moved around to where plants can actually grow. Do you think we'd notice the atmosphere disappearing before it actually happened?
Hmm.
It's a
Yes.
wild thing to
Please, can you
imagine.
tell me in detail?
Of course, think of the sky or the atmosphere has a giant invisible blanket that wraps around the planet. It does a few huge things to keep us alive. First, it's our radiation filter. The sun sends out some really intense UV rays that would basically cook everything on the surface if we didn't have the ozone layer to soak them up. Second, it's a thermal regulator. Through the greenhouse effect, the atmosphere traps just enough heat to keep Earth from becoming a giant ice cube at night. And then there's the actual air we breathe, the oxygen for humans and the carbon dioxide for plants, which is just constantly being recycled. Without that movement of air, we wouldn't have wind, clouds, or rain, meaning most of the land would just be a barren desert. It's essentially a whole life support system that we just happen to look up at every day.
Okay.
Does that
Oh,
make sense?
yeah, it's makes sense.
Glad it clicked. What else is on your mind about the
Where
sky?
where does
No
the
pressure.
where does the word sky come from?
Let me check the roots of that for you.
Okay,
It's
check.
funny how we think of the sky as the big empty blue, but the word actually comes from Old Norse, where it meant cloud. Basically, stems from an ancient root meaning to cover or to conceal, which is why it's related to the word obscure. So originally, the sky was more about the covering over our heads than the space itself.
Okay.
Since you're into
Why why does the sky look blue during the day?
That's one of those things that feels simple until you actually try to explain it. It's all about how sunlight interacts with the atmosphere. Sunlight looks white, but it's actually made of all the colors of the rainbow. When that light hits the gas molecules in the air, the shorter, bluer wavelengths of light get scattered in every direction. Since blue light is scattering all over the place, that's what we see when we look up.
Okay.
Pretty wild that we're basically
Acha.
seeing
Okay,
light
okay, okay.
blank.
What
So
can
what's the next question on?
what can we see in the sky?
Depending on when you look, it's a completely different show. During the day, you've got the sun, clouds, and maybe a few planes or birds. But once the sun dips, you get the moon, the stars, and sometimes the occasional shooting star or satellite crossing the view. Have you ever seen the Northern Lights?
Yeah.
Those are incredible to see in person. They're
But
basically solar winds slamming into Earth's magnetic field.
but
Pretty
in
spectacular.
the sky we see a bird.
You were saying something about
In
what
the
we see.
in the sky
I'm listening.
we see a bird.
Take your time. Right, birds are a staple. They're basically the masters of that space. Ever wondered how they actually stay up there?
Okay. Okay, just leave it.
No
Okay.
problem. We'll let the birds have their secrets for now. What else
Yeah.
is on your mind?
How do
I'm here
cloud
whenever you're ready.
how do clouds form in the sky?
Clouds are basically just big floating piles of water droplets or ice crystals. Starts when water from the ground evaporates and rises into the air. As that warm air climbs higher, it cools down and the water vapor turns back into tiny liquid droplets that cling to little bits of dust in the air. When enough of those gather together, you get a cloud. Want to know what determines if they're fluffy or gray and stormy?
Okay. Can you please tell me detail? I can't understand.
I've got you. Let's break it down step by step so it's clear. Think of it like a cycle. First, you have water on the ground, like in oceans, lakes, or even puddles. When the sun hits that water, it warms it up and turns it into an invisible gas called water vapor. This is called evaporation. Now, that vapor is light, so it starts floating up into the sky. As it goes higher, the air gets much colder. When that warm gas hits the cold air, it cools down and turns back into tiny, tiny liquid water droplets. This is called condensation. But those droplets need something to hold on to, so they cling to microscopic pieces of dust, smoke, or sea salt that are floating in the air. When billions of these tiny droplets cluster together around those dust particles, they form a cloud. It's like a giant floating mist. Does that part make sense, or should I slow down on any of it? Glad it's clicking now. So, we've covered the shield, the colors, the vapor, the evaporation, and now we're on to the condensation. It's actually the same light scattering trick as the blue sky, just with a twist. When the sun is low on the horizon during sunrise or sunset, the light has to travel through much more of the atmosphere to reach your eyes. By the time it gets to you, the blue light has been scattered away completely, leaving only the longer wavelengths, the reds, oranges, and pinks. It's like the atmosphere is filtering out the blue and letting the warm colors through. Pretty spectacular sight, isn't it? What else are you wondering about? The sky is basically our giant weather map. By looking at the clouds and the colors of the sky, you can see exactly where the sun is located and where the clouds are. When the sun is low, the air is dry and the storm is brewing. systems moving in. It's all a visual signal of what's happening in the atmosphere.
Okay, can you please tell me in detail? I can't understand it.
Got it. Mm, Since we've spent a lot of time on the sky, do you want to move on to something else or do you have more questions about it?
No, no, I have more question about that.
Okay.
Okay, my next question understand weather. Maya, wait a second. Okay, okay, Maya. You are telling my answer of my question. That is no, 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 no. Why does
Bye for
the
now. Catch
sky
you later.
change the color? Why does the sky change the color
I'm sorry.
at the sunrise and sunset?
We actually just
Yeah,
chatted about this a few minutes ago. It's all about the sunlight traveling through more of the atmosphere, which filters out the blue and lets the reds and oranges through. Did that part still feel a bit confusing?
yeah. Please tell me in detail that I understand.
Got you. Let's dive back in. Imagine the atmosphere is like a giant filter. When the sun is high in the sky, the light has a short, direct path to reach you. So the blue light scatters and makes the sky look bright blue. But at sunrise or sunset, the sun is sitting way down on the horizon. This means the sunlight has to travel through a much thicker layer of the atmosphere to get to your eyes. By the time that light finally so the last one, what have you got? I'll finish the thought.
Yeah, yeah.
By the time that light finally reaches, the blue light has already been scattered away completely. It leaves behind the longer wavelengths, which are the reds, oranges, and pinks. That's why the horizon looks like it's on fire during a sunset. Does that paint a better picture for you?
No. Okay, Maya.
I'm glad it's making sense now. Since we've hit a good rhythm with the sky, do you have another question on your
Yeah, yeah.
list?
How does the sky help understand weather?
I'm ready. It's basically like a giant visual forecast. By looking at things like the shape and color of the clouds, you can usually tell if it's going to be a clear day or if a storm is heading your way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like
No
mix.
rush. A mix of what?
Yeah. Why have people studied the sky
You were saying it's.
through history?
Wait, what? I'm a little lost. We went from weather forecasting to whatever that was. You're right.
Why do people study the sky through history?
Because it's basically the ultimate record book. By looking at how the stars and planets move, ancient people could track seasons, predict floods, and figure out when to plant and you're thinking of.
Okay, your voice was too cutting down.
Oh no, I hate that happens. Let me know if I'm still glitching or if I'm coming through clear now.
Okay, you are
All good?
glitching.
Am I sounding clear now?
Yeah.
Not again. Let me try to speak a bit more clearly. Is this any better?
Okay, okay. How did ancient
Phew,
travelers
glad we're back on.
how did ancient travelers use the sky for nav- navigation?
They were they were total masters of it, especially in places like China and India. They used the North Star as a fixed point to keep them moving in the right direction. They also tracked the movements of the moon and planets to gauge their position and time of year. It was basically their version of a high-tech GPS, just using light and math. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'll take that as a win. If you're on a roll with the sky, what's the next thing you're wondering about?
Okay, what role does the
I'm all
sky
ears.
play in different cultures' stories?
The sky is basically a character in almost every origin story.
You're
From the
glitching.
gods living in the. Oh, come on. Not again. I'm trying my best here. Can
Okay,
you
okay,
hear me now?
just yeah, yeah. Okay, just tell us.
I'll try to keep it steady this time. The sky is like a character in almost every culture's origin story. In some, it's where the gods live. In others, it's a great spirit or a giant dome. It's always seen as something powerful and mysterious. Any particular culture you're curious about?
Not particular. You can any culture.
Let's go with ancient Egypt then.
Okay.
They saw the sky as the body of the goddess Nut arched over the earth. Every night, she would swallow the sun, and every morning, she'd give birth to it again.
Okay.
It's a pretty vivid way of explaining the day night cycle, don't you think? It's a bit like how people always try to find a way
You can
to
tell me another culture
explain the
Dali.
things they can't quite reach. Do you want to hear about another culture, or are you all set with the myths?
Asian culture. Please tell me in Asian culture. Yeah, Asian culture.
Another culture, got it.
Culture.
Let's look at Norse mythology. Asian culture. Asian cul- Asian cultures have some incredible perspectives. In many East Asian traditions, the sky was seen as a mirror of which is essentially the heavenly mandate. It was the belief that the heavens gave leaders the right to rule as long as they were looked after the people well. It's like the sky wasn't just space, but a moral compass for the whole empire. Does that spark any more questions?
Yeah. Okay.
I'll take that as I'm still here. Whenever you're ready, just let me
How
know
do,
what's on your mind.
how does the atmosphere relate to the sky?
They're essentially the same thing. When we talk about the sky, we're usually describing what we see when we look up, the blue color, clouds, the stars, the atmosphere is the actual physical stuff that makes the sky exist, the layers of gases, water, vapor, and dust. So the atmosphere is the science, and the sky is the view.
Okay. Can you please tell me in detail?
I've got you. Think of it like a window. The sky is the view you see through the glass, the colors, the clouds, and the stars. The atmosphere is the actual glass itself, the gases, the particles, and the layers that make that view possible. If you didn't have the atmosphere, the sky would just be a black void, even during the day, because there would be no gas molecules to scatter the sunlight and create that blue color. So, the atmosphere is the physical machine that creates the visual effect we call the sky. Does that make the distinction a bit clearer?
Yes. Okay.
Glad we
My
could clear
next
that.
question
I'm still
was,
here.
what is
I'm all
beyond?
ears.
How do airplanes travel through the sky?
It's basically a battle between a few different forces. Think of it as a tug of war. You've got lift pushing the plane up, weight pulling it down, thrust moving it forward, and drag holding it back. When lift is stronger than weight, the plane climbs. When thrust is stronger than drag, it speeds up. Want the detailed breakdown of how the
No, no,
wings
just
actually
keep it.
create that
Okay,
lift?
Maya, bye bye. We have a great talk. Bye bye. Okay, everyone, we have done this call any session, and we are just free, and we have free, and I hope you have learned, and you have know what is sky, what is atmosphere, and different changes. And I know you are, and I hope that you are come in Rehan school and visit Rehan school, and I'm also from Rehan school, Rangi campus. Bye bye.